The Galactic Empire had ruled the stars for over 6,000 years. They had conquered worlds of fire, ice, and endless oceans. They had defeated warrior species stronger than metal and smarter than machines. Every civilization they met did one of two things: they surrendered or they died. So when their long-range scouts found a small blue planet in a quiet solar system, they were not impressed. The planet was called Earth. The species was called human. Primitive, divided, emotional. Easy. The Empire's scout ships entered the outer edge of the solar system. Their sensors scanned everything: the planets, the moons, the satellites. They detected nuclear weapons. Old war machines, thousands of orbiting metal objects, messy, unorganized, weak. Then something strange happened. A message appeared. It did not come from one country. It did not come from one leader. It came from everywhere at once. Radio waves, military channels, civilian networks, deep space antennas, even old satellites that should not have been active began transmitting. The message was translated automatically into the Empire's language. It was short, steel, clear.
Cold. To the fleet entering our system.
We know you are here. We do not seek war. We will not attack first. But understand this clearly. Do not interfere. Do not threaten our world. Do not test us. There was no signature. No name. Just one final line. This is your only warning. Inside the Zytherian command ship, the High Legate stared at the message. His tall silver body shimmered with faint light as he read it again. Then he laughed. Around him, the officers laughed too. A divided species dares to warn the Empire, one commander said. They cannot even unify their own planet, another added. The High Legate gave the order. Move forward.
Standard pacification formation.
20 warships. 3 dreadnoughts, enough to force surrender without destroying the planet. The Empire preferred useful worlds. As the fleet passed near Mars, something unusual happened. Several human satellites changed orbit. It was small, almost invisible, but the Empire noticed. Primitive defense adjustment, one officer said calmly. The fleet continued. Then sensors began to flicker. Minor solar interference, said another officer, but it was not the sun. Far below the oceans of Earth, machines, older than most current human governments, powered on. Deep under mountains, hidden doors opened. In frozen lands and desert silence, systems connected to networks that were never public. Across Earth, leaders argued.
Some wanted peace. Some wanted surrender.
Some wanted to strike first. But one thing was certain. The warning had not been a bluff. In the command ship, alarms suddenly flashed red. Unknown energy spike, detected near asteroid belt, tracking multiple high-velocity objects. The High Legate's expression changed. Identify. Before the system could answer, space itself bent, not naturally, artificially. A small distortion formed ahead of the fleet. It shimmered like heat above fire. One of the Empire's warships drifted too close. For half a second, nothing happened. Then, the ship folded inward, silently. No explosion, no debris, just gone. Every officer froze.
Silence filled the command bridge.
That, one whispered, was not solar interference. More distortions appeared. Precise, controlled. On Earth, deep underground, a quiet voice spoke inside a secure military chamber. Phase 1 defense activated. The High Legate felt something unfamiliar, for the first time in centuries. Doubt. The humans had not attacked first, but they had prepared. And now the Empire understood something too late. Earth was not unguarded. It was waiting.
The High Legate stared at the blue planet on the screen. Small.
Peaceful looking. Silent.
His claws tightened. Battle stations, he ordered. And far below, on a world that had survived wars, plagues, and its own destruction many times before. Humanity prepared to show the galaxy why the warning had been serious. The Galactic Empire had never lost a fleet to a young species. Never. But now, one of their warships was gone. No explosion. No wreckage. Just empty space where it once existed. The High Legate stood silent on the command deck. The blue planet Earth glowed on the main screen. It looked harmless. Peaceful.
But it was not scan everything, the legate ordered.
His voice was calm, but his eyes were not. Imperial sensors spread across space. They searched for weapons, ships, energy sources. They found nothing clear. Then, another alert screamed through the ship. High-speed objects. Detected. Multiple directions. From the darkness near the asteroid belt, massive rocks moved at impossible speed. They were not natural. They had engines. Humans had been pushing asteroids for years. Slowly. Quietly. Now they released them. The first asteroid smashed into an Imperial cruiser. The shield held for 2 seconds. Then it broke. The impact turned the warship into fire and metal pieces. Another asteroid struck a second ship, then a third. The Empire fired plasma cannons. Bright energy beams cut through space. One asteroid exploded. But there were too many! Change formation, a commander shouted. Before the ships could move far, space twisted again. More distortions appeared, small tears in space itself. Human gravity weapons. One destroyer drifted too close to a distortion. Its front half stretched like soft clay. The back half tried to pull away. The ship ripped apart. On Earth, deep under the Pacific Ocean, a secret command center monitored everything. A woman in a dark uniform watched the screens. She did not smile.
She did not celebrate. Phase 2, she said quietly.
In orbit around Earth, thousands of small objects activated. They looked like simple satellites. They were not. They were autonomous combat drones. Tiny compared to Imperial ships. But fast, very fast. The drones moved in swarms. They avoided heavy weapons. They targeted weak points, engines, shield nodes, weapon ports. They did not stop. They did not fear. Imperial point defense guns shot down hundreds. But for every drone destroyed, 5 more replaced it. One dreadnought fired its main cannon toward Earth. A bright beam of energy shot across space. Before it could reach the planet, a massive shield appeared around Earth. A wide electromagnetic barrier powered by hidden fusion plants. The beam hit the shield and scattered into harmless light. The High Legate felt anger rising inside him. "These are not primitive defenses," he said slowly.
"No, High Legate," an officer replied. "This is planned warfare."
Energy spike inside our hyperspace drive core. Humans had hacked them. Not fully.
But enough. One cruiser's engine overloaded.
Blue light burst from its center. Then, it exploded. The shockwave damaged 2 nearby ships. The Imperial fleet was no longer attacking. It was trying to survive. The High Legate looked at the battle map. 20 warships had entered the system. Now only 11 remained. And the fight had lasted less than 15 minutes. On Earth, leaders from different nations watched from secure locations. For once, they were not arguing. They were united. They knew something simple. If Earth fell, humanity would end. So they fought like a species with nothing to lose. In space, the last Imperial dreadnought tried to retreat. "Prepare emergency jump," its captain shouted. Before it could escape, something massive moved from behind Jupiter's shadow. A human war platform, hidden for decades, powered by stolen alien signals and human engineering. It fired one single kinetic projectile. No energy beam, no bright light. Just speed. The projectile struck the dreadnought at near light speed. The ship disappeared in white silence. The remaining Imperial ships finally jumped to hyperspace. Retreat. For the first time in centuries, the Galactic Empire had retreated from a battle. The solar system became quiet again. Debris floated in space. broken metal, burned fragments. The High Legate stood in the damaged command ship as it escaped into hyperspace. He no longer felt anger. He felt something worse. Fear. Earth had not chased them. Earth had not sent ships after them. The humans had only defended, which meant something terrifying. They had shown only what was necessary. As the fleet disappeared into faster-than-light travel, the High Legate whispered, they were ready. Back on Earth, in the silent command room, the woman in uniform looked at the damage reports. Phase 3 remains unused, an officer said. She nodded slowly. Good. Outside, the blue planet kept spinning peacefully. But now, the galaxy would know. The warning had not been empty words, and this was only the beginning. The surviving ships of the First Fleet returned to Imperial space in silence. They did not play victory music. They did not send celebration signals. They carried damage, fear, and a story no one wanted to hear. Inside the Grand Imperial Chamber, the High Legate stood before the Emperor and the ruling council. His silver armor was cracked. His pride was worse. We underestimated them, he said. Murmurs filled the chamber. Impossible, one council member replied. They are divided. Their planet is politically unstable. Their technology is young. The High Legate raised his hand and activated a projection. Images filled the chamber. Asteroids turned into weapons. Gravity distortions tearing ships apart. Swarms of small drones moving like angry insects. A single human kinetic strike, destroying a dreadnought in one silent flash. The chamber became quiet. These humans fight differently. The Legate continued. They do not depend on one command. They build many systems. Hidden. Independent. If one fails, another activates. The Emperor leaned forward. His glowing eyes narrowed. Can we destroy them with a full invasion force? Yes, he answered slowly, but not without cost. How much cost? The Emperor asked. The Legate changed the projection again. Now the image showed the outer edge of Earth's solar system. The Oort cloud, far beyond Pluto. Sensors from the damaged fleet had detected something there during retreat. Large objects, cold, silent, not natural. Imperial scientists had studied the data. The objects were massive, pre-accelerated. Already aimed. At what? The Emperor demanded. What? The Legate answered in a low voice. At us. The chamber exploded with noise. Humanity had placed massive relativistic projectiles in deep space. If launched, they would move near light speed. No shield could stop them. No defense could react fast enough. Entire core worlds of the Empire could be destroyed in minutes. They built a revenge system, the Legate said. If Earth falls, those weapons will launch automatically. Silence returned. The Emperor stood slowly. They would destroy themselves just to hurt us?
Yes, the Legate replied. This was what the Empire finally understood.
Humans were not the strongest species. They were not the most advanced. But they had one terrifying quality. They prepared for their own destruction. On Earth, leaders met again in secret, in a secure underground room. Generals and scientists studied Imperial movement. More fleets were gathering at the edge of the galaxy. The Empire was thinking. Planning. We hurt them, one general said. Yes, the woman in uniform replied. But we did not break them. It showed something even more secret than the Oort cloud weapons. A deep space signal receiver. For years, humans had been listening to the galaxy. They had learned Imperial communication patterns. They had mapped expansion routes. They knew where the Empire's strongest systems were located. And the revenge projectiles were not random. They were targeted. Are the Deadman protocols ready? A scientist asked quietly.
Yes, she answered. If Earth was invaded and control lost, an AI system would activate.
It would launch every hidden weapon, but toward many. Humans called it simple, mutual destruction. They did not want war. But they refused extinction. Back in the Imperial chamber, fear began to replace anger. The Emperor finally spoke. They are not trying to conquer. No, the legate agreed. They are trying to make us afraid. Again, silence. 'Cause it was working. The Empire had ruled through fear for thousands of years. Now they faced a species that understood fear and used it perfectly. One council member whispered, "What if we leave them alone?" The Empire did not retreat. The Empire did not avoid. The Empire dominated. But Earth was different. Earth had shown only defense. They had not chased. They had not invaded. They had simply said one thing: do not test us. The Emperor turned to the High Legate. If we attack with full power, can we stop those deep space weapons before launch? The Legate answered honestly.
No, Majesty. The Emperor closed his eyes.
For the first time in Imperial history, a small blue planet had forced them to think about survival. Not conquest. Survival. Far away, Earth continued to rotate peacefully around its sun. Cities lived normally. Children played. People argued about politics and sports. But deep underground, machines waited. And far beyond Pluto, silent weapons stayed locked on distant stars. Both sides now understood something clearly. The next move would decide the future of the galaxy. The Galactic Empire's fleet hovered at the edge of the solar system. Unlike before, there was no attack, no warning shots, no orders to advance. The High Legate stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the small blue planet glow in the distance. Every sensor still burned with the memory of what had happened months ago. Every officer knew the truth now. Earth was not ordinary. The Emperor's voice echoed through the council chambers back home. "Prepare the second fleet," he commanded. "Double the size. Show them our power. Crush their rebellion before it grows." Ships assembled. Millions of lives were counted as expendable for the sake of Empire pride. But as the fleet left hyperspace near Mars's orbit, something unexpected happened. Sensors detected changes. Subtle at first, satellites shifted slightly. Deep space signals flickered. The outer solar system showed movement. Not attacks, not weapons, but presence. Humans were waiting. The Second Imperial Fleet slowed. The High Legate called the Emperor. "Majesty," he said, "they are ready. We cannot strike without risking our own annihilation."
The Emperor's eyes narrowed. Explain.
Every system we have studied, every warship we send, Earth has contingency. Kinetic strikes prepositioned in the Oort cloud. Automated defenses in orbit. Submerged bases, deep underground networks. We attack, we die. A silence filled the chamber. The Emperor's pride clashed with his fear. For the first time, he could not command with certainty. "Send an envoy," the Legate said quietly. "We need to talk before we destroy ourselves." It approached Earth slowly, shields on, weapons off. On board were the highest-ranking diplomats of the Empire. On Earth, leaders had gathered in a single secure chamber. Scientists, generals, diplomats, even rival nations, worked together for the first time in decades. The envoy landed, and the humans welcomed them, not with weapons, but with a calm, firm handshake. The Imperial envoy asked their single question: "Why prepare for such destruction? You were not yet threatened." "You could have waited." A human diplomat replied simply, her voice steady. "Because we knew you would come, and if we were unprepared, we would be gone. You would be gone. The galaxy would be worse for it." She paused, letting the weight of the words sink in. This is not about power. This is about survival. We do not seek territory, tribute, or empire. But we will not kneel, ever. The envoy's sensors had recorded it all. Their ships had watched the silent weapons waiting beyond Pluto. The drones in orbit. The hidden AI systems. They had seen it. And the truth sank deep into every officer's mind. Back on the Imperial flagship, the High Legate turned to the Emperor. "They are not bluffing," he said. "We cannot attack.
If we do, we lose everything."
Every core world, every fleet, even the Empire itself. The Emperor's pride struggled with the logic. Then slowly, he nodded. Very well, he said.
Earth is untouchable. For now,
We bow. The Galactic Empire redrew its borders. Earth became a sovereign, untouchable world. The humans did not celebrate. They had simply survived. And their survival had changed the balance of the galaxy. Centuries later, Imperial academies taught cadets one lesson above all others: do not test a species that evolved on a death world and survived itself. In the dark reaches of space, hidden weapons remained. Drones patrolled silently. AI systems waited patiently. Humans had warned the galaxy once, and they would warn it again if necessary. Earth rotated quietly around the sun. Children laughed. Cities thrived. Life seemed ordinary, but in the hearts of the Empire, a fear had taken root. And fear, more than anything, was the true lesson of humanity. The galaxy had learned the hard way. Never underestimate the humans. End of story.